Jesus Christ, where do you begin? Right? So you guys, you heard what happened. Before we get into it, let me give you, we're talking about Jay Morrison. We're talking about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. That's what the Trust Fund is. Let me give you my thoughts. All right. Because I was there. I sat there. I went to the spot. I'm listening. I'm taking notes. You guys, let me first say this. 'Cause people are going to ask, here are the questions. Is this fraud? Did Jay Morrison scam black people out of $11 million? Did he do it? All this and more. I'm going to answer all these, but I want to run it back a little bit. What are my thoughts, you guys? I'm going to be quite honest with you. If he's not careful, that's what I'm going to say. I see prison in his future, you guys. And I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to explain to you why, how dangerous this is that he's doing. Now, let me give you some history. When this whole thing started, where did I first learn about Jay Morrison? He was on the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is known for putting out charlatans. So would I call Jay Morrison a fraud, a scammer? I would call him a charlatan, you guys. Do I blame? Who do I blame? Let me get into that. I'm gonna get into that. As a community, there's some things that we need to talk about because there's some due diligence that was not done. And as Black people, we get what we pay for. It's nobody's responsibility but our own to vet. This is what I asked them. This is what I said on stage. We need to do better about vetting people. There is no reason why a man who has no expertise in finances. He said, listen, I asked him, what are your can you share with the audience? Can you explain to those online who are watching what your expertise and experience is? Can you show us your educational background that makes you qualified to manage, you guys, a multi-million-dollar portfolio? I want to know where you went to school at. I want to know how many businesses that you've managed where you in tunes of multiple millions of dollars. I want to know. I want to know. You guys, what did he say? He said he worked for someone who worked for someone and he stamped paperwork. He did real estate. He was a real estate agent. He was a loan officer. Right? You approved money that didn't belong to you for someone who's qualified to get the money. All you did was look over and sign over paperwork. You didn't really manage anything. You didn't even intern under someone who manages multiple million. Then he said to me, and I asked him, what experience do you have? He's, well, crowdfunding. No one knew how to do it. I'm the first one. I don't know anything. Because that's a lie. That's a lie. What was my review of this entire thing? Because I know from the beginning when he started, like I said, I saw him on Breakfast Club. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, right? Anybody can tell you how to make money. Everybody can't make money, though, right? There's a difference, and I want everybody to be clear on that. Right now, I can tell you if you take 10 iPhone cell phones and you sell it for $800, I'll say you make a profit, right? That's easy. Anybody can tell you what to do in order to make money. That's the easy part. Everybody can't take that knowledge and then go and actually make money. There's a skill set, right? There's a level of discipline. There's a level of sacrifice, integrity, knowledge, applied knowledge. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of variables to it. So yeah, he's good at reciting information. You can get a how-to book on how to do real estate. And I can regurgitate that information and make it sound good. And then you think that I know how to do what I'm telling you needs to be done. You guys, that's all he did. You guys, Jay Morrison is a charlatan. He is a word wizard. He's a warlock with words, you guys. And for those who don't know anything about business, for those who are easily persuaded by the usage of race, racism, white supremacy talk, here's what this all comes down to. And this is because see, this is less about Jay Morrison and more about how easily influenced Black people are when you bring up race and racism. Here's the problem. The power of using historical pain in order to profit. We see this amongst our charlatans in our community, our Tariq Nasheeds, our Dr. Umar Johnsons, right? Our Sean Kings, and that brother's not even Black. And we see it here with Jay Morrison, the idea that we can weaponize racism against our own people in order to get them to open up their wallets, to give them the money to do a job that they're not qualified to do. But you don't care. You don't care. Why? Because he massaged your feelings. He said, this is something we have to do. As Black people, we got to come together, bring up, you guys, I remember listening to him. We got to pull our money together and do what? Rebuild Black Wall Street. That's what he said. That was his promise. Pull our money together, you guys. I'll take the funds. We'll do it. He gave a speech, and you guys gave him $11 million. No one asked whether or not he was truly qualified. No one verified any college documentation. No one verified any taxes from his businesses. No one verified anything. The community gathered behind his voice. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying that you guys didn't ask any questions. You asked no relevant questions. The questions that I'm hearing now, the things that I'm hearing people ask about now, should have been asked in 2018. There's no board of trustees. How do you have a financial business, operating business, where there's no board of advisors? There's no board of trustees. There's nobody. He answers to nobody. And so now when he's tricking off the money the way he wants to, it's not against the law, technically. Technically, right? We're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down. I'm gonna tell you what he said, and I'm gonna translate it for you. Because he was talking fast, and those who are talking fast, he's trying to put you in a situation where you can't understand what's actually being said. What he did with this fund is unethical. It's deceptive. And I'm going to tell you guys, if he doesn't clean it up, if he doesn't do something, I see prison in his future behind this. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you why. I mean, break it down. Using historical pain for profit. That's what we're looking at. When you take the name of the business and you label it one of the most horrendous historical events, one of many in this country, where a group of evil, racist people burned down, killed hundreds of black people. Talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Black Wall Street. One of many cities that they burned down, development cities or cities that were functioning, thriving black communities that they burned down, some that they drowned out. Shout out to here up in Georgia, right? Seemed like every time a white person goes swimming over there, they die, right? For those who don't know, we got a Lake Lanier over here. It is a graveyard for swimmers. It seemed like every month, 2, 3, drowned is always a mysterious death. You find out that they flooded a black city. You guys, listen, let's be real. He names the fund Tulsa Real Estate Fund. His sales pitch back in 2018 is we want to rebuild Black Wall Street. You guys, 6 years later, $11 million. You know how much money's in the fund? Sub 500,000. You guys, so we don't even know if it is 500,000. It's sub. He said sub, meaning it's underneath. We don't know. You guys, the fund is bankrupt. And then people asked, what do you own? How much do we own this real estate fund? What do we actually own? I'm going to tell you. And listen, when I was there sitting in the audience, I was disappointed because I was trying to figure out where is the outrage. You watched the video. I heard no outrage. So either everybody in there was planted, 99% were followers of him, or they were so oblivious as to how bad this really is, or they truly believe in him and think he can turn this around. I was waiting and I just found out recently, which is why I had to change up everything. I just found out recently that when I went up there, well, I decided to wait. The reason why I went last is because I was waiting for Julian. So you guys listen, under this video, I have the references and resources for you to go back and watch so you can get a better understanding of what's going on. And the reason why I'm covering this is because, as you know, I'm on a campaign to call out to police, right? These bad actors in our community. We have to start taking a stand and speaking out against these things, holding our people accountable. This is real Black excellence, not hesitating and not falling a wayside. Listen, I'm recapping from a different perspective. Shout out to Pocket Watching with JT. He did a phenomenal job covering this. Julian did an amazing job covering this. You guys, I'm about to speak to this from a different angle, from the angle that we are having people use Black pain as a tool to influence you out of your pocket. That's the conversation that needs to be had. It's despicable. Black pain produces profits. That's it. Using racism, weaponizing it against your own people produces blind loyalty. We have to talk about that. Why do we keep falling for the same trick, you guys? Jay Morrison is a hustler. He's an ex-con, right? An ex-drug dealer. That's not my words. He has no According to him, he has no college education. He's not qualified. I talk about it all the time on this channel, how we allow people to come in our community who are not qualified to talk about things that they have no business talking about. And we submit to them. We submit to them. He called out and he blamed a gentleman by the name of, where is it at? E.J. Hawkins. E.J. Hawkins. And guess what? I'm hearing these things for the first time, so I can't speak on what I don't know. I can't challenge what I don't know. He called out the gentleman by the name of E.J. Hawkins. He said, E.J. Hawkins is the reason why we're missing X amount of millions of dollars out of the fund. He stole from Tulsa. He stole from y'all. That's what he said. You guys, I hit him up. I hit E.J. Hawkins up. You guys, and he gave me a brief explanation of what happened. And I asked him, I said, hey, is it okay if I share this? Is it okay if I share with the people the truth? Or I will say your version of the truth. He said, absolutely. He said, absolutely, you guys. What did I hear while I was present at this meeting? Lies. Listen, I have no dog in the fight, right? You know why I didn't invest in this fund? Because Jay Morrison promoted or he used historical pain. One, that's a red flag. He had no business experience in the financial sector. That's a red flag. Third, he had no accountability. He had no board of trustees, no board of advisors. You guys. And in a few days, he raised millions of dollars. I remember like it was yesterday. I said, this is crazy. I said, this is crazy. And then fourth, you know what he did? He bought a community. He bought a community space called the Black House, the Legacy Center, in an area that wasn't booming, right? It didn't make any sense. And he took that and he started bragging behind that. He started showing up on all these podcasts, bragging, saying he's this real estate guru and this, that. Then I did some research on him and found out, sir, he just got out of prison. You know, like it's weird to me. And so I left it alone. And he's up and coming just like Dr. Umar was up and coming at that time. It was like the rise of this Black folks get together. We got to do this and do that. To me, you guys, it was so obvious. I'm not shocked. I didn't know they raised $11 million. The reason that what got my attention was the fact that this account is pretty much bankrupt and there are no assets purchased. I'm like, how did this happen? I'm going to tell you how it happened. And I'm going to tell you the genius behind this foolishness. So Mr. Hawkins, I'm going to, out of respect for Mr. Hawkins, I'm going to read to you exactly what he said. He said he doesn't mind me sharing it, and I really appreciate it because honestly, if he said not to share, I wouldn't share it. I'm gonna read to you what Mr. Hawkins said, you guys, and I think we have to, right? Because I think the biggest problem that I have just in general with this is that you have a person who couldn't, his character and name was defamed and he wasn't there to speak on it. And Jay Morrison threw his name out several times. He said, E.J. Hawkins is the person. You need to go and dox him, show his address, put his information out. You know, he stole from you. That's what he said. I didn't say it, you guys. I'm just there watching. This is what EJ said. EJ Hawkins said this. Well, let me read to you what I actually wrote to him. I said, hey, Mr. Hawkins, how you doing? This is Nathan Daley. So I wanted to reach out to you to learn more about this allegation that Jay Morrison made about regarding the trust fund. I'm doing a video on him tonight, breaking down the meeting from yesterday. Wanted to get your opinion on what's really going on with the fund. And respectfully, he responded. Really grateful for his response. What did EJ say, you guys? He said, of course. He said, evening, Mr. Daley. He said, of course, Jay would make an allegation without sharing the full story. He said, my team and I have been hesitant to share the full story as I have no ill will towards Jay, right? Classy. However, his inability to share the facts can be concerning. So the reality is, Jay never loaned us any money. So for those who don't know, what the Tulsa Trust Fund is supposed to be doing is buying up real estate assets, building up the portfolio, because it is a real estate investment portfolio, taking the funding from the people and using that to basically make profit, right? Get people a return on their investment. What Jay Morrison has done is he was allowing people, black investors, those who are buying and flipping homes, to reach out and apply for assistance through the fund, and he would fund them, right, through the money that was raised by the community. This is what we call crowdfunding. For those who are not familiar with how he's operating this thing. So he was loaned, basically, he's acting as a bank for black people who are saying, hey, the bank wouldn't give me money for this deal. Jay Morrison is the fund manager. He's also he's in charge of a lot of stuff, apparently. So that's what was going on. So he's linking up with other black investors. What Jay Morrison didn't realize is they're actually real black investors who know what they're doing and admired what he was doing. And because they admired it, they wanted to work with him. Right? This is where you get all this stuff that was going on with Tony the Closer. For those who kept up with that, right? That's a whole nother thing, right? Listen, you guys, I'm just a fly on the wall, and I'm always soaking it in because I think it's interesting how people, they believed in him. That's the problem, right? And let me explain to you. They believed in Jay Morrison, and you hear that a lot. Even in the meeting, Jay Morrison is like, I did my best, you guys. I was out here. Listen, he's like, something that he said that I thought was so interesting. Essentially, he said, well, you can't call me a criminal. You can't call me a fraud. You can't call me a scammer because I messed up. I made an honest mistake and I fumbled $11 million. So what he's saying is, listen, you guys, look, family, I made an honest mistake. I just wasn't that good. I thought I knew. That's why when I asked him the question, I said, sir, you're not qualified. And everything you said tonight was nothing but excuses. He said, well, I mean, I wouldn't say excuses. Sir, you just said, right? He's asking for grace and saying that he didn't know it was going to be this difficult. Well, of course you didn't know, sir. You don't have any experience. He turned around and said, well, no one has experience. No, sir, that's not true. Look, King. Look, King. Right? That's not true. Instead of admitting that you didn't know what you were doing, instead of admitting that you embellished your skill sets, I remember, you guys, when he came on the scene, he was actually talking like you'd have thought he had a conglomerate. You would have thought he was second to Donald Trump. Now, all of a sudden, he doesn't know I didn't know about these fees. I didn't know how difficult it was going to be. And who did he blame? He blamed black people. He said, well, you know how it is with our community. I was like, okay. You heard what I said? I said, okay. Well, you know how black people are. No one has experience doing this with our people. Okay. I wanted you guys to hear the excuses. He couldn't even just be honest. He said, man, dude, this undertaking was way over my head. It was way over my head. I hyped my skills up. I didn't know. You know what he could have done? He could have been a figurehead for this whole thing. All he had to do was hire the people who actually know how to do the job, whether they're white, black, Asian, or Hispanic. Black folks just want their money and they want their ROI. That's it. I don't care who's managing the funds as long as my money is flipped and it's returned as promised. All this, they got to be black. No, they got to be qualified. And if they're black, it's a bonus. But all this seeing everything through skin color is what's getting us in these messes in the first place. Oh, I can't vote for him. He's not black. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Right? This is where we get all this. Where you want to see everything through skin color, I'm looking at qualifications. You gave a black man who's unqualified $11 million, and he told you, I'm sorry. I blew the account. And he blamed it on black people, highlighting his poor management skills. He said it's black people's fault. And because of black people, the reputation of my name, my family, and the Tulsa Real Estate Fund has crumbled because it's your fault. He said it's your fault. Wow. The gaslighting. Whew. Next level. This guy, he's magical with it, you guys. He's magical. Jay Morrison could sell water to a whale and fire and hell and soap in jail. You guys, talk to him. Hey, bro, I got this bar of soap, bro. You ain't had no bar like this, bro. It's Dove. Dove, sir, you use carved Dove on here, sir. This regular commissary soap. He told you that you were the problem, not him. Not my lack of experience. Sorry, not my no experience. I asked them, you guys, I said, what can you tell the people, tell the audience, those watching online, your qualifications? He rambled off a bunch of nonsense. Do you know the qualifications you need to have to run a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio? My God. The brother don't. How did we get here? Is it Jay Morrison's fault? No, it's your fault, you guys. You get what you pay for. This is what you get when you pay more attention to the words and not the actions of the individual. This is what you get when you allow a soothsayer to speak foolishness in your ears. This is what you get when you allow someone to talk to you more than actually show you. You guys, this is what you get. You got what you paid for. Nothing. You got nothing. Did he scam black people? You guys scammed yourself. And we do it continuously. Hell, we still trying to figure out what Umar is doing. Jesus Christ. Tariq got y'all a museum and he flipped it into a nightclub. Cuckoo Cuckoo. Right? How we get here? Each one of them use racism as a tool to inspire you. It's something about when we bring up racism and white supremacy, some of y'all go into autopilot. You click off. You click off. Your logic is gone. Why is that? Because when your emotions are high, your logic is low. That's the reality. Pain for profit. The Democrats do it. Politicians are doing it. Black Lives Matter did it, and we keep falling for it. We keep falling for it. Black people do it to black people. We keep falling for it. Keep on falling for it. Then you have black people who are genuine, who want the best for you, who come out and they condone the behavior that they see of these charlatans, and you guys call them sellouts. You call them traitors. You call them coons and Uncle Toms. We don't listen to those who are more qualified. We listen to those who sound the loudest. We haven't learned. We're so enticed by this showmanship popularity thing in our community, you guys, to our detriment. To our detriment. I know black men who are really moving in real estate, and you don't see them on social media. They would have taken $2 million of your money. You guys, remind you, this is at the highest point where real estate in Atlanta was through the roof. You talk, this brother had over $11 million, up to, he had millions of dollars, and he didn't buy anything. Let's talk about what he bought. Is he a fraud? No. He's a charlatan. He's a charlatan. The little gaming channel back again. He says, you are deceived people. Easily deceived. Why? Because we lead with emotions. We lead with emotions. You know, we lead with emotions. Back to back. Trying to break it down. And I think, you know, for those who know, for those who realize. But again, he has over 15,000 investors. He raised over $11 million and people are still sending him money. What did he do, you guys? What did he do? You know, he said a lot in that video. I'm going to basically just break it down to you. And then I'm going to get back to what EJ said. I know I kind of skipped off of that. I'm going to get back to what EJ said. But before I speak on what EJ Hawkins said, since he was defamed during this process, or allegations were made against him, some strong allegations, I want to give you what the information, the terminology you need to be aware of while we're breaking this down so you understand what's taking place. All right. Pull this over here so I can look at these notes, because this is what it is. All right. Here's some names. Julian put together a list of some great questions, right? And he is cultivating and getting with the investors and are working on reporting Jay Morrison again to the SEC. Okay. I put the first SEC findings on the bottom of this video for you guys can peruse through, along with reference material below. What information do you guys need to know? I'm going to break it down so you all can be clear. Okay. You guys understand, you know, my background as an investigator. This is light work. Okay. This is light work. Let me explain to you what's going on. Okay. Here are the terminologies that you need to be aware of before I start explaining what happened. All right. 3900 Demoni Drive. Okay. 3900 Demoni Drive. When you replay this video, you start hearing these terminologies. You'll know exactly what everything is. He's speaking so fast, he's trying to confuse the audience and people listening. 3900 Demoni Drive is his actual address. It's his new real estate. People put that information out there. Technically, he put it out there, right? Because he's doing messy business. He's doing messy business. He's saying that people doxed his home address. No, that's not accurate, okay? And before I get into that, I don't condone any threats. any people harming or threatening his family and so on and so on. That's unacceptable. I mean that, right? I absolutely mean that's unacceptable. Challenge this man, challenge him in court, challenge him by getting your money back, challenge him by um not supporting or speaking out. All right. Family off limits. Him off limits. All right. It just is what it is, you guys. For those who are out there doing that, whoever's doing that. All right. So let me just be clear on that. This information is already out here, so it is what it is. But we're going to talk about it. Let me show you. Let me pull up so you guys can see how much this house costs, and in that way we can start making sense of a lot of things. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. How do you? What's the plus button at? Move the keyboard. All right. This is the house. We're here really looking at the price. Okay. The house was purchased $850,000. All right. This was last year. $850,000. This is 3900 Demoni Drive. This is essentially this is the property that he talks about inside of this whole in the meeting. He's talking about that property, you guys. You could almost just say this is pretty much $1 million property. Okay. You could pretty much just write this off and say that's damn near $1 million property. Where did he get the money from? Okay. That's the question. Where did he get the money? 3 beds and 3 baths for this? That's a little much. I'm sorry. I'm not spending that much money for 3 bedroom, 3 bath. Well, nonetheless, all right. That's the property that people are bringing up in this whole conversation. Investors are saying, did you use the TREF money? Okay, so here's the other word, 3900 Demoni LLC. Okay, that's another term that's going to be brought up in this conversation as I break it down. 3900 Demoni LLC is not the same as obviously his street address. Demoni LLC is actually the filing business name, right? That's the name that's filed with the Secretary of State. The DBA, doing business as name, is South Fulton Rental Group. Okay, that's the name of the company. All right, so remember that. Let's go into this other one. TREF, T-R-E-F, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. You're going to hear it called out as TREF. Okay, all right. You're also going to hear 6 West. I'm going to talk about 6 West. 6 West is a 300 plus acre compound, developmental compound that was purchased by the city of College Park to build a multi-billion-dollar community, business, residential, apartment, the whole 9 yards. Okay. 300 plus acres. It's called 6 West. This is important. All right, this is important. Then I talked about E.J. Hawkins. I already told you who he is. I'm gonna get to him. This is under the tabs that I'm gonna cover. All right. Those are the concepts that I want you to understand. Now let me explain to you where we are. These are the key things in this entire 3-hour video that I want to break down so you have an understanding of what's going on. All right. Let me get my tabs together. So that's this. That's this. This. Okay. All right. Okay. And then I have this image I need to pull up, which is here. And then okay. All right, y'all. We in business. Sorry. I just want to make sure, I like to be organized. I like to get everything right. I want y'all to see exactly what I have so we can break this down. All right, here we go. Let's get to business. Where are we? What did Jay Morrison do? Jay Morrison created a crowdfunding business. He asked black people to help out. Black people did that. He sold what he sold. It is what it is. Everyone believed in him. They trusted him. They sent their money. I have to caution you all about the power of the word believe. The word believe and why this is a dangerous word as it relates to business. As you guys are believing in him, he is not showing anything that makes what he's saying believable. And every word that he says needs to be scrutinized. This is business, you guys. This is not about feelings. This is all about facts. When it comes to business, I need to see the money. I need to see the balance sheet. The problem with this fund is that for every single year, he's lost over $1 million+ a year out of the fund. He was not bringing in enough capital. His expenses, the largest parts of expenses, were going to things that it shouldn't have been. Way too high. Way too high, right? And I urge you to look at the other videos that I put on. I'm not going to go over all the details of the numbers, but essentially, it costs more. He was losing more money than he was making. A lot. Think of almost $2 million, almost $2 million a year were going out the window. We're talking over a 6-year period. All right. Here we are. He gets this money. He's lending the money out to do real estate deals. Okay. However, all these deals went down, he's saying all these things, cool. Here we are, you guys. People are asking questions. And these questions, he's answering them. Let's start with the first question that was asked. We're going to go one by one. Did you buy your home, 3900 Demoni Road, with TREF money? Again, you know what TREF means. What did he say? He said, did you buy your home, 3900 Demoni Road, with TREF money? He never answered the question. The first question was asked. He didn't answer it. All right. That's a fact. What he said was, yes, I own that home. The home that I just showed you. Okay. He said he owns this home. He says, yes, I own the home. But the question was, did you use the real estate money, the fund money, to buy this home? He didn't answer that. He just said that, no, I own the home. Now, the next question is, who owns 3900 Demoni LLC? That's the business that he named after the street name of the house that he owns. All right. 3900 Demoni LLC, its doing business name is South Fulton Rental Group. Why is that important? All right. Why is that important? He says, TREF Real Estate Fund, it is 100% owned, right? South Fulton Rental Group is 100% owned by Tulsa Real Estate Fund. So let's break that down real quick before we go any further, because this shit gets convoluted, right? It gets messy. He's saying that TREF Fund, the real estate fund, this business is a subsidiary of TREF. Okay. So TREF Real Estate Fund is here. The subsidiary, which is the South Fulton Rental Group, is a subsidiary. That's what he said. The next question was, are you affiliated with the South Fulton Rental Group? He says yes, right? He owns shares. He owns ownership in this business. So here we are. I don't know if these are real subsidiary, if it's a real subsidiary, right? I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I'm telling you what he said, but I'm going to tell you about the conflict of interest in a second. Tulsa Real Estate Fund, he's saying the subsidiary is the Demoni 3900 Demoni LLC, which is the South Fulton, the South Fulton Group, South Fulton Business. Now, here's the next question. Did you buy 3900 Demoni Road on July 27th for $850,000 through Demoni LLC? Right? He's asking, the question was asked, did you buy this house? Pull it up, you guys. I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I got to do it because it's crazy. Did you buy this house with the company 3900 Demoni LLC or Tulsa or the South Fulton Rental Group? He said, no, I did not. He said that Tulsa Real Estate Fund bought the house. Okay. Tulsa Real Estate Fund bought the house. How is he saying that? He's saying that technically because, according to him, this is a subsidiary that's owned by Tulsa Real Estate Fund. You guys, he's not being accurate. He's not being accurate. I'm going to explain to you why. Someone asks, who lives at 3900 Demoni Road? All right. He said he does. All right. So basically, Tulsa Real Estate Fund bought, is what he's saying, bought the house. So it's true. You're living in a house that was purchased with the real estate money that you manage that doesn't belong to you personally. That's where we are. That's where we are. That's what he said. He said in July, the fund 100% through the subsidiary, right, purchased 32 acres of land 12 miles outside of 6 West Development Zone. All right. Here's what's going on. Shout out to the lead. He said he... Shout out to Lee. He said he want his money back. Man, listen, it gets crazy. This is who I need up here to come help me break this law. This is the law. Now we're about to get to the law. Lee, you already know you always welcome here, brother. If you want to come up and get your 2 cents, you know, you're always welcome. I'm gonna drop the link for you. You only, if you want to come up and get your thoughts, you are more than welcome, brother. Hold on. Let me drop the link. Make sure. All right, to the moderators. So this is what's going on. He told the audience that him and his family own the South Fulton Realty Group, right? He said the family owns that company. But then he's also telling you that Tulsa Real Estate Fund is over that company, is under that company. So here we are, you guys. We already have a beautiful conflict of interest right here. Here's the biggest problem behind all of this. College Park has an area called 6 West. You guys, I'm going to show you what 6 West looks like, just so we can all be on the same page. And I put the information at the bottom so you can actually see what 6 West development looks like. All right, let me see. And then let me zoom. All right. This is the area. I know we probably can't see it that well. This is the area of 6 West. All right. Let me go through. Maybe find another page. And I put the link in the description under the description of the video, just so you guys can see that this is the area, over 300 acres of land. What is Jay Morrison saying? Jay Morrison is saying that he wants to buy land that's approximately 12 miles from this booming area, this area that has not been developed yet. Has not been developed yet. Jay Morrison is saying College Park is about to build this. We want to be outside of this area, right? He's looking at a patch of land that's approximately 12 miles outside of 6 West. All right. And I put the link down so you guys can kind of go through all that on your own. But I just wanted to let you know what this information is so you can follow up. All right. Why is this important? I'm about to show you. This is what Jay Morrison is saying he wants to develop. This is what called the Legacy Preserve. This is what he had posted up at the meeting. Legacy Preserve, mixed use development. Jay Morrison said he needs more money. He said he wants to buy and build this area up, which is approximately 12 miles from the 6 West, right? This is what this is about. And let me explain to you what he did so that we're all on the same page, because this is where things get funny. This is where things get funny. What did he do, you guys? People are asking him these questions. They asked him about South Fulton Rental Group. Jay Morrison said his family owns that business, right? We all know who Tulsa Real Estate belongs to. It belongs to the people. Jay Morrison is an employee for this real estate fund. He's an employee. He's a manager who's in charge of managing the money that he took from Black people. He now has a business called South Fulton Realty Group, okay? That's working in conjunction with the TREF Fund, right? The Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is what's going on. What happened? Jay Morrison found a plot of land. He found 32 acres of land 12 miles from the 6 West, where they're developing a multi-billion-dollar community. Jay Morrison's like, oh my God, you guys, I want land over here because it's going to be booming. And he's absolutely correct. What did Jay Morrison do? Jay Morrison told us he took $125,000 from TREF Real Estate Fund, and he bought 32 acres of land in Atlanta, College Park, you guys. All right, does everybody follow me? He took $125,000 of TREF money, and he bought 32 acres of land near a booming site, multi-billion-dollar site. All right, here we go. This is where things start to look a little suspicious. Now, all of a sudden, Jay Morrison's family business, South Fulton, says to TREF, hey, can I buy that land off of you that you just bought? TREF says, okay. TREF sells Jay Morrison 27 acres out of the 32 acres. Now it belongs to Jay Morrison's family. All right, does everybody follow me? Does everybody follow me? Jay Morrison says, listen, I'll take the 27. I'll let you keep 5. TREF says, okay. TREF decides to keep 5 acres of the land and gave Jay Morrison 27. But Jay Morrison's like, hold on. Listen, I'm going to do you even a better solid. I'm going to give you, TREF, exclusive rights to build on the 27 acres that I own, that my family owns under South Fulton Realty Group. So not only am I giving you 5 acres to keep, Treff, I'm going to let you get exclusive rights to build property on my land that I bought from you. Okay? Does everybody follow me? Does everybody follow me? This is where we are. All right. Now, Jay Morrison's company has 27 acres that he bought from Treff. He gives Treff 5 acres and then gives Treff exclusive rights to build on the 27 acres. But Jay's like, that's not good enough, you guys. Jay tells all of us that in 60 days, this worked out actually. He says Treff got all of its money back and made an additional $25,000 in an ROI. 60 days is what he said, 2 months. He said the ROI, those are a return on investment, $25,000. He said, listen, you guys, I did this, pulled it off. Look what I did. Look what I did. And Treff made an increase of $25,000. What does that sound like to me? Technically, if you just want to break it down, and mind you, I haven't seen the paperwork. I'm telling you what he told us, what you just witnessed on this video. I'm telling you what he told us. He said, essentially, somehow, Jay Morrison's company gave Treff $175,000 for 27 acres of land. What's the problem with this, you guys? Jay Morrison is the manager of the Treff Fund, the fund of the people. Jay Morrison is also the owner of the business that bought the land from Treff. The same person operating both businesses. One his family owns and the other the people own. But yet he is the sole manager of the Treff real estate. You guys, he's playing both sides. Could you imagine you sitting at the business table and you're the only one there? And you're signing the paperwork. Oh, can you sign over here? Yeah. Oh, can you sign? Yeah. I would like to give my company 27 acres. Okay. And I'll approve it over here. Okay. You guys, could you imagine? I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying he's not accurate. I'm not saying this is fraud, but it looked a little fraudish. I'm not saying he's a scammer. He's damn sure a charlatan. Why do I say that? He convinced y'all Negroes of giving him $11 million, and he's never done this before. That's what he said. He said, he said, nobody has ever done this. Nobody black. He said, I don't know what I'm doing. That's what he said. Could you imagine? He practiced with $11 million. Jesus Christ. You know, when I first started investing in stocks, you guys, I was playing with $300. I was buying stocks, practicing. He practiced with your money. And the balls of this one, as confident as he was, the narcissism is strong within this one, you guys. I was looking at a magician on the stage. He pulled everything but a rabbit out his hat. And I'm looking around the audience and I'm saying, is anybody upset? I'm upset for you. I'm upset for you. I didn't understand. I didn't know what to ask because I thought everybody was cool with it. You heard what I asked. I didn't know. I just didn't know what to ask. Why am I going to start a fight with someone that you guys don't see a problem with? I didn't understand why Julian didn't get up on the mic. And then I later find out that the man sent him a cease and desist when he walked in the door. But then the shame of Jay Morrison and his wife, unacceptable. What they do, they started berating him in front of everybody. Why won't he come up? He over here, everybody got a lot to say on YouTube, but he wouldn't come up. And you served this man a cease and desist and you didn't say that? Wow. I was blown away. I was blown away. Jay Morrison's a magician, you guys. He's a magician. The brother thinks he's Houdini, but I know a cage he's not going to be able to get out of. I know one he can't get out of, you guys. And it's on its way. Let me go back to this money movement. Let me go back to this money movement. And I'm gonna tell you what Jay Morrison's his justification is. He blamed it on ignorance. He said I didn't know any better. He said I wasn't skilled enough, that this was complicated. He said it was COVID. He said it was black people smearing his name, smearing the fund. Black people sabotage their own success. This is what he said. Not one time did he say it was his own ignorance and lack of experience. No. He said, I did the best I could. Don't call me a scammer. I didn't defraud her. I didn't do any of that. You guys, I did the best. I worked hard. And I paid myself almost $1 million a year. But I worked hard. You guys, this is Netflix documentary next level. This isn't even close to Bernie Madoff, you guys. Let me tell you why. People say, oh, it's the Bernie Madoff. Absolutely not. The difference between Jay Morrison and Bernie Madoff is Bernie Madoff was educated. He knew what to do and how to do it. Bernie almost didn't get caught. Why? Because he was an expert in finances. You guys, he started the damn stock exchange. Jay Morrison is not an expert at all. At best, he sold a house or two as a real estate agent. You guys, we're talking about multi-million-dollar portfolio. How did he pull it off? Because of the ignorance of black people who gave him money and for those who believed in him. Those who invested in him, who knew better, did it because they believed in him. What did they believe in? They believed in his words. You guys, the power of the word believe. In the word believe, you'll always find a lie. Look at it. You can't spell believe without lie. There's always a lie. Lie is always in the middle of the word believe. Look at it. Believe me. Why? Why is lie inside believe? There's always a lie. There's always a lie. Instead of believe, what should people be doing? They need to know. Jay Morrison, I don't believe in you. I trust the numbers, sir. I don't trust you. We would have been better off giving $11 million in the hand of a Jewish man. Show me the numbers. I don't care if you like me. I don't care about the color of your skin. I want my return. Show me that you know how to flip this money. Jay Morrison, he could have been just the head figure organizing, galvanizing Black people to put their money into a trusted fund with trusted advisors, with a board of trustees. Trust. The word trust is in all of that, and we don't have it over here. Why? There's no overseer of this money. There's no overseer of the money. Why would he want a board of trustees? Because guess what? It creates trust. What did I ask Jay Morrison? I said, if all the investors signed a petition and asked you to step down, would you do it? You heard the pause? He was, I don't know if I knew right then and there. Right then and there, I knew what time it was. Right then and there, I knew what time it was. Sir, if everyone's asking you to step down, you need to step down. You damaged the reputation. Your reputation is damaged for good reason. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We all know what it is. You mismanaged the funds. A lot of this stuff, depending on what that contract looked like, you guys, this is unethical. He is one whistleblower away from blowing his ass in the prison. I'm telling you. So the question is, what does the real estate fund own? How much is it worth right now? Sub $500. I'm sorry. Sub $500,000. What does that mean? Sub of anything? It's below. Do we know how much? It could damn near be $10 in the bank. He said sub $500,000. You guys, that's being generous. You can't even buy a house for $500,000 in Atlanta right now. The fun is done. The fun is over with. It's sub $500,000. You can't buy a house in Atlanta for $500,000. You guys, it's over with. What does the house own? What does the real estate portfolio own right now? Cash, sub $500,000. It owns 5 acres of land that he let them keep. Okay? What else? It owns developmental rights, exclusive rights to actually build on the 27 acres of land that Jay Morrison's family owned or owns now. I'm going to tell you what his game plan is. They have exclusive rights indefinitely, is how he put it, in perpetuity, right? But that perpetuity only lasts for 27 years. So they have, so the TREP fund, right now where it stands, sub $500,000, the number's unknown, 5 acres of land. Jesus Christ, can't make this up. Exclusive rights to build and develop on 27 acres that does not belong to the fund. But the fund was the one who bought the land in the first place. So let's get this straight, you guys. He used your money to buy an asset for himself indirectly, a personal asset. He bought that from the money that you used, that you gave him. You guys, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him at all. At all. And then now what is he going to do? Look at the game plan. I always like dealing with criminals who think they are the smartest ones to invent the crime that they're committing. I think it's so interesting to think that they are the most, every criminal thinks that they are the most creative of them all. And I always tell them on our way to court that there's always someone who did this before. You may have did this a little different, but someone's already tried this, man. You're not slick. You're not as slick as you thought you were. More smarter, more educated people have gotten away with a lot less. Tulsa Real Estate Fund bought 32 acres under the leadership of Jay Morrison. Jay Morrison then took his personal company, bought 27 acres, right, from Tulsa Real Estate. He didn't have the money to do it himself. The moral of the story is Jay Morrison didn't have the money to buy his own land with his own money. So he used the real estate fund to buy indirectly this asset for himself. That's what he did. And the way he's trying to wiggle out of it is by saying that his company that he has stake and ownership in, he couldn't lie about that because I pulled it up online. He's saying that it's a subsidiary, saying that it's still owned by Tulsa Real Estate. But he's the pen and the paper, you guys. So check this out. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I'm going to have to chop this video up. But check this out. This is basically what's going on. So I know I kind of repeated it, but here it is. Now Jay Morrison owns 27 acres. He needed the Tulsa fund to buy because he couldn't afford it. All right. He pays Tulsa back the money and then gives, and then somehow they make an extra $25,000. He's saying it's ROI. I didn't see the exact transaction, right? So regardless, based off of that deal, essentially one could argue that Tulsa got back $175,000, right? Jay is saying that the reason why I did that is to shield the real estate fund from any carrying costs. What is a carrying cost? Taxes and all kind of other little miscellaneous fees. That's his justification for why he did what he did. Oh, I was doing them a favor. But here's the problem. Now he's sitting on this asset that his family owns. We all know the value of land. Then guess what he's going to do? He's going to get the real estate fund to build on the land that he owns. He doesn't have to come out of pocket. He's going to let the real estate fund build. Guess what, you guys? This. He's going to take the money that he raised. He gave the real estate fund exclusive rights to the money. This shit is you can't make this up, man. He's going to have the real estate company. He's going to have the real estate fund, your money. He's going to make you pay to build up the land that he. I mean, 144 units, 144 doors. I want to do we all understand what's going on? Do we all understand? I want to make sure we are all understanding what this man has done. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be provided for you. Sorry, I try to do it. Oh, I can't believe I just, for the life of me, it's not even so much. I think for me with this, it's the audacity, right? Like it's my God, man, the balls on this one, man. I listen. I I hold. Basically, what we have here is Jay Morrison. What he ended up doing, this warlock of words. He's saying, "Listen, this is basically what it is. You pay me, and I pay me to pay them. That's paying me, and I pay you for paying me. That's what this is. You got essentially. That's all he said at the meeting. You're paying me, so I'm paying me with what you paid me, so I can pay them. That's also paying me because I own them, and in return, I paid you back. But then you're giving it back to me anyways. This is not genius. This is stupid. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. You guys, I mean, I just, oh my God. And could he have gotten away with this?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Shout out to Viva Woodlife with the $100 super chat. Let me hit that man one time. JD said it wasn't for the Pepsi kids. This sounds like it sounds like an episode of Scooby Doo. When your whole operation got blown up by. Yikes. Shout out to this brother. He said, this smells of a conflict of interest and fiduciary irresponsibility at a minimum, and embezzlement wrapped up in the loopholes unsophisticated investors didn't read. In the same way he held the bulk of C-suite roles in the fund and paid his companies. Woo! What are we looking at, you guys? This is the pay for play. This is the stuff that people get in trouble with all the time. And these cities and county officials, what do? Right? They are on the board. They sit, they're councilmen, they're in charge of approving county work, improving the building of or the expansion of, the redistricting of lines. They're in charge of making these financial decisions. They're in charge of giving out these permits. They're in charge of approving permits and so on. And this is what they do. They end up approving. This is what's going on, right? That's almost like if I wanted to hire somebody, you hire me to do a job. All right. And say fix your roof. Say you hire me to fix your roof. And what I do is, okay, no, it's a bad example. Let me just stick to this. This is what it is. All right. I'm a county official. I work for the city, and I approve permits for people to do work. Like, say, fix the road. The road's really bad. We need the road fixed. And then what happens? I recommend the company to fix this road. I'm not supposed to have any connections, financial connections with this company. But I approve the permit for this company to do it because I am a part owner of that company. So when I, as a city official, approve the work to be done and I own 50% of that company, that's against the law. You cannot do that. It's called a conflict of interest because I only approved that contract because I have a stake in it. I have ownership in it. Right? So now I'm gonna let the city, the bid for the contract is $3 million. And I'm like, they're good. I'm gonna approve for 3.5. Why? Because guess what? I own 50% of the company that nobody knows about. So I approve it. And now I get a little kickback. You guys, Jay Morrison has a private company that he says is a subsidiary of Treff. His family owns the private company. Jay Morrison used Treff money to buy 32 acres because he himself could not afford it. Then he takes his private company that he says is his family's company, and then he takes that company and buys the land away from Treff. The land is supposed to belong to the people. It's the whole purpose for the fund. It's to have asset, not building responsibilities. I sold the land to my company, but you guys can build on it. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he thought that he would get away with that. So you took your personal company, you bought the land away from Treff, and you kept the bulk of it. You didn't give yourself 5 acres. You gave the Treff fund 5 acres, and you kept 27. So you can afford the cost, the operating cost, and the taxes. Who pays Jay's salary? You guys, Jesus Christ, he's triple dipping. This is the trifecta. You guys are paying his salary. He uses his salary to spend money on his personal. Then he uses the company to buy his personal property. Oh my God. I mean, but then check it. The final move, what does he do? He says, I give Treff exclusive rights to build on the land that you helped me buy. I'm going to let you spend your money and develop my land. You guys, that's slavery. Essentially, what Jay Morrison did is he got 27 acres that he's going to get you to pay for and get it built for free. Essentially. Technically, Jay Morrison did pay the money back to Treff, right? Jay Morrison said Treff bought the land. It cost $125,000. His company gave the money back, but only gave you 5 acres. You guys, that's a loss. That's a loss because now you're going to pay to build his land up 12 miles away from a multi-billion-dollar community project. It's disgusting. He turned the Treff Fund into a developing company, a contracting company. All of a sudden, Tulsa Real Estate Fund is for building property for other people. No, the fund is supposed to be for owning real estate asset. Land is something that it should be owning. Jay Morrison said that this right here is the next. He needs this. This is what 144 doors, and he needs more money. He needs black people to give him more money. Dude, if you couldn't flip the 11 million, you need to be on a plane to Cuba. You need to be on a plane to Cuba, brother, at this point. That's all I'm going to say to you. Let me get to these super chats, man. Thank you again, brother, with this $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Little gaming channel, man. Shout out to you, brother. Hitting the super chat. He said, little gaming channel said, Jay is sitting at the round table meeting, and he's sitting in all the seats. Jay is moving money from his right hand to his left hand. Yep. I mean, basically. Shout out to my homie Chef Shapino. If y'all don't know, better ask somebody. Chef, shout out to you, Playboy. Shout out to you. T Kings. No, he didn't. He didn't. I was in there hungry and mad too. Matter of fact, I got out of there like 10 o'clock, you guys. I was pissed. I'm going to replay the part that I asked, and then I'm going to close it up. But anybody want to come up and add 2 cents? I want to get your thoughts on it, especially if you've not been to this channel before. I want you to be able to come up and share your thoughts. I know we're going on a little long, but this was an emergency. Had to cover this. I will clip the conversation piece separate from the stream of the actual spot, just so people can get right to the meats and potatoes of this. Again, shout out to my boy. Facts. This was bad, you guys. This was bad. And again, I'm just this was bad. Man, shout out to this man right here.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Ooh. Listen, brother, thank you so much for this blessing. Thank you so much for this blessing. What does he say? Viva Wood Life hits me with another $100 super chat. Man, God bless you, bro. I really, really appreciate that. And everybody donating tonight to the stream, you guys. This is a very, very serious problem. This is very interesting, and I had to go down there. I had to go down there and hear directly what was going on. I've been keeping up with this thing since 2018, and I'm just so hurt, man, by it. Because at the end of the day, this is discouraging for a lot of people. A lot of people believed, right? Believed in him. And it just, no matter whether you think he did something criminal or not, he failed, and he failed in a way that it's so egregious to the people that it's the pain, the blowback. He just made it, him and these other guys, it just make it so much harder for people like myself, and others out there who don't ask for money but just want the support, man. So shout out to you, brother. He says, if this were a city, state, or federal government contract, this would be a hefty civil fine, felony jail time. This is like when dude tells his baby mama to let him flip the tax money. He goes to yeah, a 15-year-old Benz with 25% interest rate and gets repo in 4 months. That's exactly. It's, you guys, you can't do what he just did. It's not ethical. Shout out to you, Dre. I see Dre heading to the times of 12 o'clock. It's not ethical, man. I'm not gonna call this man a criminal. He is definitely a charlatan. And I don't agree with how he managed this fund. And that's what I'm gonna say. I don't agree with how he managed this fund. There's no excuse to why this fund failed during the height of a real estate boom. A real estate boom. You know how many properties he could have bought that were going for 2% interest? Man, get out of here. You know, with 11 million, you could have got a loan for $250,000 off of that. There's so much. He could have bought and not only that, he's talking about, I'm just listening to just the bad business plan, the bad everything. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was doing. He had no clue, you guys. You guys gave a hustler $11 million. I just want to play back the clip. Let me see if I can I want, for those who are just pulling in, I want you to hear what I said, what I asked him. Before I go on that, I want to make sure I cover this email with Mr. Hawkins. Jay Morrison said a lot about Hawkins. Again, he defamed him in front of everybody. He made some allegations saying EJ Hawkins is the reason why we don't have no money. He said he frauded us out of all this money. That's what he said. I reached out to Mr. Hawkins myself, and I just asked him, I say, hey, listen, this is what was said about you, and I was there. And I know this is bullshit, you guys, but I said, listen, I'm curious. Do you mind sharing? You know, what's your side of the story? I'm about to do a reaction to this. I said, you know, Morrison said that you, sir, are the reason why they filed late. You, sir, are the reason why, right? He said that this man robbed the people of the money. He said, go after EJ Hawkins. He said, go and dox in, put his address out, go chase him down. That's what he said, you guys. You can't make this up. Mr. Hawkins, I asked him if I can share this information. He said, go ahead. Mr. Hawkins said, the reality is this. He said, Jay never loaned us any money. You guys know the real estate fund is supposed to help Black investors who have difficulty time getting money from banks to flip property. Okay. He said, Jay never loaned us any money. My partners and I purchased a property that Jay subsequently partnered on, which was not supposed to happen. Okay. We put up 1.2 million of our own cash, and he put up 550K from the JMREP28 LLC, the J Morrison Rep 28 LLC. It's probably another business he has, because it's weird because he also has Morrison Holdings LLC as well. He has the South Fulton Realty Group LLC. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Morrison had other businesses that he's not really telling anybody. But this is what he's saying. JMREP28 LLC. I'm going to have to look that up. He said the lack of duty on his part and incompetency of his team was so bad, we decided to end the partnership, which he didn't want to do. We paid Jay his initial investment, $500K, in July of 2022. All right, to end the partnership. Our disagreement lies with what is believed to be his ROI. Okay, understandable, on his investment. We agree he is owed a return on said investment, but what he alleges or is asking for is unjust. Basically, in so many ways, he's saying that he's asking for more than what he deserves to get. He also said, from what he'd been told, he never shared with you all, he was paid. So he's basically saying that from what he was told, Jay Morrison is telling people that he was never paid. He was never probably given his money back. He's saying that we gave him his money back. He also said, thankfully for us, hold on, let me see. He sent me an update. Let me make sure. I've been getting a ton of support. People, we will keep in touch. Okay, cool. All right, I just want to make sure he didn't change his mind. Let me just read that email. All right. Good brother. I'm going to keep in touch with him. He said, from what I've been told, he never shared with with people. He never shared with everybody else that he got paid from this thing. So again, this is what he's saying. And then he adds, thankfully for us, this is what Mr. Hawkins is saying, we paid him via escrow. All right, I'm gonna tell you why this is important. And he signed an agreement and acceptance of the funds. So we have our receipts. That's how you do it. That's professionalism. It's documented, right? You can run it back. You can provide receipts. That's how it's supposed to be done. So what is he saying? He's saying that, you guys, when the going gets tough, guess what? We have proof. We have a paper trail. We have a paper trail. And this is what this brother said. He said, I'm not here to tear him down. I'm not here to tear him down. But Jay Morrison is here to tear you down. Why? Because he needs a scapegoat. He needs a scapegoat. So that's pretty much the gist of that. I'm not going to share any more of that email, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that I was blessed enough to be able to reach out to Mr. Hawkins just to kind of get his side of the story, because in the moment, Jay Morrison was saying a lot. I just want to run back and play the conversation I had with Jay Morrison, the questions that I asked him, and I want you guys to know why I asked him these questions. So let's go back, and then I'm gonna pull anybody up who wants to come up and provide a couple statements, give your thoughts. I would love to hear what you have to say. I see you, Nikki D. If you guys want to start pulling up, if the moderators can drop the link in the back, and for those who want to come up and give their thoughts, please be cammed up. You guys, of course, this is one of these type of things where we definitely want everybody cammed up for obvious reasons. And let me stop sharing that. Let me see. Let me pull up. I want to just pull this thing up real quick. I'm gonna add this in the chat because I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Let me run it back right here. Okay, let me add this. I want to ask you guys right now in the chat, do you think that this is ethical? Do you think that this is fraudulent? Do you think that this is okay what Jay Morrison did? And we all, just from the breakdown of what you heard, this did not come from me. Okay, this came from Jay Morrison himself. He explained this. I didn't say this. Jay Morrison said this. All right, to be 100% clear. 100% clear. Also, Nikki says she on the bonnet. You on the bonnet, Nikki? All right, come on up, sis. I got you. We got to protect the bonnets. Nikki, come on up. Come on up. I'll let you come on up. And then I want to, it's just because we got trolls and all that kind of stuff. So we got to be careful. Can't just let people up. Nikki, for bonnet purposes only. Nikki, I'll let you come up and say what you have to say. Let me share this clip. I want you guys to hear what I asked him. Was sitting there in the audience. I took notes. I listened to the foolishness, and I was very, very disappointed. I can't stress how disappointed I was. And it's, and it's sad, you guys. It really is. It's sad, and we got a lot of work to do. We definitely have a lot of work to do. Let me pull this up.
So for us to have multiple LCs around the country, we don't got to pay the operational costs. We just get overrides of all the LCs, which is free money to us, in a sense.
And then as far as this project, propaganda, that's.
But we'll continue to privately lend and try to earn those same kind of returns as we move forward in that as well.
Oh, okay. I was just curious about
that. Yes, ma'am. Was there more Zoom as well? I think he go ahead. Yes, sir.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
My name is Nathan Daley. I have just a few questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm up. I'm up, you guys, and we're about to have a conversation with Jay Morrison. I'm about to ask him some questions. I want to tell you why I'm asking him these questions, and so that you guys can understand what is actually going on and why I asked them and the importance of these questions. So let's dive into it.
Understanding like the complications as it relates to our community in reference to the propaganda that's been put out. How do you go moving forward on repairing the relationship and also the loss of respect that a lot of people have for the fund and investing? Or do you have a plan moving forward for that?
Well, one is continue to do the work, but I want to underscore the point to y'all. If we all keep promoting these negative things about the fund in the Legacy Center, it makes it very difficult for the Legacy Center to make money. Right? So if there's negativity around the brand and the fund and these accusations, it makes it very hard for us to perform. How do we get around it? All I can do is continue to do the work.
All right. So the answer is no, he doesn't have a response. What did I ask him, you guys? I asked him about the reputation. Why do I ask him that? Because when you have a CEO, you have a manager, you have someone in a high ranking position in the company, and they are under scrutiny from a behavior, doing something unethical, something questionable, some level of embarrassment, some conspiracy, you name it. What do? They step down because them being a part of the brand, it ends up damaging it. Right now, with everything that's been going on with Jay Morrison, whether it's true or not, you guys, he damaged the brand. Right? This is about a brand. This is about representation. He destroyed the reputation of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Everybody who understands how this game works, you have to step down. Why did I ask him that? Because all throughout this meeting, you know what he kept saying? Oh, because of the reputation, I'm missing out on millions of dollars. People don't want to invest in the fund. You know what these companies end up doing? They fire people, they fire CEOs, they replace people, and they change the name. You guys, I worked in the Black community for years. And one thing I know for sure, anytime we get a homicide in one of these apartment complexes, it could be the Oaks or Stonecrest. 2 people got shot and killed. By 2 months later, it is the Oaks of Chimney Ridge. What happens? People get fired. The names change. Why? Because they can't take the name damaging the reputation. Jay Morrison has destroyed not only his own reputation, the legacy of his family, but the name of this business. He killed it, you guys. So I asked him, what are you going to do about the reputation? He doesn't have an answer. Why? He has no intentions of stepping down until what? Until he gets the Tulsa Real Estate Fund to build on the property that he owns, that he purchased with Tulsa real estate money. That's how he's going to do it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the name. He doesn't care about the reputation. So what do I ask him next?
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
If the investors got together and said to you, they signed a petition to say they prefer you to step down, would that be something you'd be willing to do?
I'm open to any conversation, but right now, we haven't seen any traction from investors at any serious level. I'm talking about even from this recent onslaught of very consistent campaigns that even hacked our email list and all that kind of thing, all those kind of things. We've seen less than 100 redemption requests. Right? Even with all this YouTube and noise and all this kind of things, the mass body of our investor pool have been supportive and is supporting the fund. What's that?
So what is he saying? You guys, if you go to the Better Business Bureau website, it doesn't add up. If you hear all the complaints, if you do research, it doesn't add up. I know hundreds of people who requested to get their money back. But he's saying the bulk of his major investors are down. They're down because you can't give them the money back. You can't give them, you have right now, you have less sub 500,000 of cash. We don't know how much is in there. Essentially 1 through 500,000 is a possibility that the dollar amount is somewhere between $1 and $500,000. We don't know. He can't give anybody's money back. He can't. So I thought that was an interesting response. He said he would not step down. He said he wouldn't. If all the investors put a petition together and said, we want you to step down, he said, I wouldn't. And the investors aren't complaining. That's what he's saying. Okay. You see how long it took him to answer, though.
Yeah, people are still, we just got capital pledges just yesterday in the heat of this. So the noise says all of this online, but the reality, the data does not show that this is how our investors feel about us.
Okay.
So we keep pressing forward, we keep producing results, we keep marching on. I'm always an open ear to what the investors say, right? Whatever the case is. But there's no kind of I'll just leave it.
No, I respect that. So last question though, for those who don't know, because I've learned about you when you first started this whole venture, this whole journey, and I also invest, so I'm very familiar with the paperwork. Can you speak to your qualifications for those who may not be familiar, those who are watching online? What are your qualifications in business and finance to be able to manage a fund this large or this project?
Sure. My qualifications come from 20.
All right. Why did I ask him that? I'm here to put him in a trick bag, you guys. But let's hear what he has to say. I want to know what his qualifications are to manage a multi-million-dollar real estate fund. Let's hear what he has to say.
20 years in real estate and mortgages.
Okay.
Started in mortgages in 2002 as a loan officer and worked my way up to a branch manager of 2 mortgage companies, Liberty State Finance in New Jersey. Also have worked as a developer investor in all those years. Licensed realtor for nearly 10 years in New Jersey. Licensed realtor with Sotheby's International Realty, the world's largest luxury real estate company. And have just been executing and being an entrepreneur for the last 2 decades. Growing a business from scratch in my garage, New Jersey, to think 5,000 twice, understanding infrastructure and business building. And God gave me the idea and vision to execute this fund at this level.
So you're saying you have the experience to manage a multi-million-dollar fund?
I've never done one before.
Right.
Why did we give him $11 million? Why did we give him $11 million? So I want you guys to understand what he said his expertise were. Real estate agent, loan officer, signed paperwork for a company he didn't own, and an entrepreneur. Catchphrase, entrepreneur. He started a business out of his garage. You guys, I started 2 businesses out of my bedroom. How was he able to garner $11 million from Black people who say they don't have $11 million? How do you do it, you guys? He used racism. He used the historical pain out of Black history, created a marketing theme and slogan, and he sold it to you, and you bought it. He used historical pain for profit. That's what they're doing now. Someone said hope hustling. Black people suffer. A lot of us suffer from hopeism. Y'all listen to everything he said, and nothing of what he's done. He asked you to believe in him, and you did. He told you how he's going to make money that he's never made. He told you how he's going to manage the money that he's never managed before. I just asked him, have you ever? He said no. He said no. Let me just run this back just a little bit.
Redemption request.
Right.
Right. Even with all this YouTube, our investors feel about us. That's I just leave it.
No, I respect that. So
yeah.
so last question though, for those who don't know, because I've learned about you when you first started this whole venture, this whole journey, and I also invest, so I'm very familiar with the paperwork. Can you speak to your qualifications for those who may not be familiar, those who are watching online? What are your qualifications in business and finance to be able to manage a fund this large or this project?
Sure. My qualifications come.
Be clear, I did not invest in this fund. Okay, I want to be clear 100%. When they first came out with this and he launched it, I looked at what was being said. I saw everything that was missing that needed to be there. And I said, this was a bad idea. I told a lot of people that. And I didn't think it was going to be this successful. Well, I didn't think he was going to be able to raise this amount of money he did. So no, I'm not an investor in this. I just want to be clear on that.
From 20 years in real estate and mortgages.
Okay.
Started in mortgages in 2002 as a loan officer and worked my way up to a branch manager of 2 mortgage companies, Liberty State Finance in New Jersey. Also have worked as a developer investor in all those years. Licensed realtor for nearly 10 years in New Jersey. Licensed realtor with Sotheby's International Realty, the world's largest luxury real estate company. And have just been executing and being an entrepreneur for the last 2 decades. Growing a business from scratch in my garage, New Jersey, to the Inc. 5000 twice, understanding infrastructure and business building. And God gave me the idea and vision to execute this fund at this level. And
so you're saying you have the experience to manage a multi-million-dollar fund?
I've never done one before.
Right.
Right. So I do not have the experience of running, nor does anyone have the experience of running a multi-million-dollar, or at least in our community,
correct,
Reg A Tier 2 fund. So this is a new venture for me. Yes.
No, I think one of the biggest issues that I've seen, what I've heard from my own research, is the lack of, I guess you would say, expertise when handling this type of project. And so I think that's where a lot of, like this gentleman earlier who came up, I think he was spot on. A lot of questions I was going to ask, he asked them. At the end of the day, I think people are looking at how things are done ethically and how things are done professionally. And there's some questions there that I've seen personally, just from looking at it, just from a investor to an investor standpoint. So what I would just overall, I think what you're doing and the objective is just, I think at the same time, the biggest issue, in my personal opinion, is that we do have a community that's not quite educated and we don't vet people properly. And what I heard today, because I wanted to hear what everybody had to say from their perspective, your response, though, was rooted in the idea, or I would say your explanation was based from a perspective that you don't have the experience, to take on this type of project, but you sold that idea that you were able and capable. And that's, I think, where the disconnect is. Your own explanation is that I made a mistake. I didn't know, I didn't realize. Essentially, to me, what that sounds is that this is somebody who's not qualified to do a project this big on this magnitude with a multi-million-dollar project. That's what I heard from you.
I want to correct.
All right. That was my rebuttal to him, you guys. And clarify, when I said I'm an investor, I invest. I am an investor. So when I said that to him, I wanted him to understand the context, that he's not talking to somebody that's ignorant. He's not talking to someone who doesn't understand how this thing is supposed to work. You guys, it's not hard to buy real estate. You just need the money and you need the know-how, but you just need the money. It's not difficult, you guys. So the way he's explaining it would have you believe that he had no control over the current outcome and condition of this fund, and that's false. It's absolutely false. It's not hard. And I wanted people to hear, because I know his expertise and background. He has none. That qualifies him to do this project, to take on this undertaking of this magnitude. Not only that, he lacks the integrity to actually wield such a powerful position within the Black community. When you step and take on this mantle that you're doing this for Black folks, you guys, you better be damn near spotless. You better be damn near spotless. Period. Period. Essentially, what has happened in this situation, you guys, he embellished, let's say embellished. He paid everybody more than what they were worth with the Tulsa money. He paid everybody more than what they were worth with the Tulsa money. Instead of giving everybody a modest pay, modest this, respectful that, people getting 200-something thousand, million to almost 2 million on executive fees and all type of foolishness. You guys, last clip.
Continue to do the work.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
If the investors got together and said to you, they signed a petition to say they prefer you to step down, would that be something you'd be willing to do?
I'm open to any conversation, but right now, we haven't seen any traction from investors at any serious level. I'm talking about even from this recent onslaught of very consistent campaigns that even hacked our email list and all that kind of thing, all those kind of things. We've seen less than 100 redemption requests. Right. Even with all this YouTube and noise and all this kind of things, the mass body of our investor pool have been supportive and is supporting the fund. What's that? Yeah, people are still. We just got capital pledges just yesterday in the heat of this. So the noise says all of this online, but the reality, the data, does not show that this is how our investors feel about us. So we keep pressing forward, we keep producing results, we keep marching on. I'm always an open ear to what the investors say, right? Whatever the case is. But there's no kind of I'll just leave it.
No, I respect that. So last question though, for those who don't know, because I've learned about you when you first started this whole venture, this whole journey, and I also invest, so I'm very familiar with the paperwork. Can you speak to your qualifications for those who may not be familiar, those who are watching online? What are your qualifications in business and finance to be able to manage a fund this large or this project?
Sure. My qualifications come from 20 years in real estate and mortgages. Started in mortgages in 2002 as a loan officer and worked my way up to a branch manager of 2 mortgage companies, Liberty State Finance in New Jersey. Also have worked as a developer investor in all those years. Licensed realtor for nearly 10 years in New Jersey. Licensed realtor with Sotheby's International Realty, the world's largest luxury real estate company. And have just been executing and being an entrepreneur for the last 2 decades. Growing a business from scratch in my garage, New Jersey, to think 5,000 twice, understanding infrastructure and business building. And God gave me the idea and vision to execute this fund at this level.
So you're saying you have the experience to manage a multi-million-dollar fund?
I've never done one before.
Right.
So I do not have the experience of running, nor does anyone have the experience of running a multi-million-dollar, or at least in our community.
Correct.
Right.
So he had to clarify when I asked him, you don't, basically what I was going to say is you're not qualified. You don't have the qualifications to run it. Based off of everything you just rambled off, you guys, I basically said you don't have the qualifications to run and manage this level of finance on this scale. You just don't. And it's okay to say that. You should have said it 5 years ago. And you should have structured and put together the business properly so that qualified people could manage the fund. Manage the fund. And so, again, that's what I'm saying. He's how does Chef call it? Transparently deceptive. Because here's his explanation, though. His explanation is, well, I didn't have experience, but nobody else did. That's inaccurate. There's a lot of people who have the experience to run a fund of this magnitude. There's a lot of people. And people who are in business managing funds, $11 million is not even a lot of money to them, you guys. It's not a lot of money. Let's be real. People who are really in this stage of business, $11 million is like chump change. It's chump change. All right. Let's just be real. A lot of these big major firms are managing way bigger portfolios. All right.
A tier 2 fund. So this is a new venture for me. Yes.
No, I think one of the biggest issues that I've seen, what I've heard from my own research, is the lack of, I guess you would say, expertise when handling this type of project. And so I think that's where a lot of, like this gentleman earlier who came up, I think he was spot on. A lot of questions I was going to ask, he asked them. At the end of the day, I think people are looking at how things are done ethically and how things are done professionally. And there's some questions there that I've seen personally, just from looking at it, just from a investor to an investor standpoint. So what I would just overall, I think what you're doing and the objective is just, I think at the same time, the biggest issue, in my personal opinion, is that we do have a community that's not quite educated and we don't vet people properly. And what I heard today, because I wanted to hear what everybody had to say from their perspective, your response, though, was rooted in the idea, or I would say your explanation was based from a perspective that you don't have the experience, to take on this type of project, but you sold that idea that you were able and capable. And that's, I think, where the disconnect is. Your own explanation is that I made a mistake. I didn't know, I didn't realize. Essentially, to me, what that sounds is that this is somebody who's not qualified to do a project this big on this magnitude with a multi-million-dollar project. That's what I heard from you.
I want to correct.
All right. That was my spill to him. You're not qualified. You don't know what you're doing. You've never done this before, and you admitted it. How we get here? And that was my question to him. And of course, I talked about how he was able to do this to a community that's financially not savvy. Everybody supported him. Well, I won't say everybody. A lot of people supported him off of the hope and belief in what he was saying. And then I spoke to something about how he marketed himself. You guys, he was all over he was on the Breakfast Club. He was on Vlad TV in his little suit, little three-piece suit, talking about how he ragged to riches. He used to be a dope boy. He came out, got his life together. Now I'm a multi-million-dollar real estate investor and I'm doing this. See, buying a house for you and your family is different than managing $11 million or millions of dollars of other people's money. Right? And he just told you he has no experience. He's never done it before. The delusion of Black people to think that his resume of being a real estate agent qualified him. You guys, what he's claiming to be doing, there are college degrees, there are financial certifications, accounting. I mean, like, there's so many certifications and experience, real experience. He's just, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this got away from us this long. I don't know how he was able to raise so much. I just don't know how. And in the midst of all of this, he's on social media prancing around in expensive clothes, cars, and events, throwing money around, so forth and so on. We know where the money went. We know where the money went.
Correct that then, so
right.
you can hear correctly.
Okay.
He said I didn't hear correctly. He said I didn't hear correctly. That's a lie. I heard him pleading to the people that he did not know what he was doing. He didn't know how difficult this was. That's what he said. Now he's telling me I didn't hear correctly. I asked him what's his qualifications. After hearing what he said, I said he's not qualified. Then he said you didn't hear correctly. So let's hear what he has to say.
I say I didn't know. What I'm saying is that in a crowdfunding environment, as a trailblazing fund, you know, our fund was the first Black-owned real estate crowd fund, right? So there's no one living of our descent that knew.
There's no one living in our descent. That's false. Because now you're saying that there are no, I know 4 right now who manage multi-billion-dollar projects right now, you guys. This is not true. You guys, Jay Morrison's talking as if there are no educated, financially savvy African-American men and women. I know some real estate agents who are managing multi-million-dollar portfolios right now. Women and men. No. That's what he wants you to believe. And even if there is nobody Black, there's somebody Asian, there's somebody white, there's somebody Hispanic, Indian, Middle East, you name it. There's somebody else who knows. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. And if we can't find someone in our community that's qualified to flip money for us, then we find whoever is qualified to do the job. You guys, this isn't about color. This is about progress. It's about progress. What he just said was racist. He just devalued Black people and made people believe that there are no qualified Black people who could have did the job. That's false.
No one. Right. So
Is that, do you think that is an appropriate excuse or justification?
No, I'm not saying excuse. I'm just saying the experience.
Okay.
So if it were you that started, let me finish.
Right.
So if it were you that started it, or any one of us here that started it, we all would be new. We all wouldn't have the experience.
But I think anybody with business knowledge and experience and training knows that you don't reinvent the wheel. And so all I heard tonight was you saying I'm reinventing the wheel and I made a lot of mistakes.
No,
and
King.
Yeah.
There was no one with the wheel.
There's no one with the wheel who's done crowdfunding?
That did crowdfunding within our community to non-accredited investors.
So are you saying that the knowledge is not there to actually manage a crowdfunding?
We had, in 2018, we had multiple crowdfunding consultants, legally, compliance-wise, accounting-wise, et cetera. The Jobs Act and crowdfunding was so new, they all were still figuring out. It was an emerging industry. The whole industry was new, King. Right? So I brought those.
You guys, this is me. There's nobody else. There was no wheel. The wheel doesn't exist because it's Black people involved. So the wheel. Okay. I said, so you're going to reinvent. You're going to just come up here and you're going to. King, I'm trying to tell you, King. Look here. Word is bond, B. Look. Hey. You guys, crowdfunding, angel investing. This shit ain't new. This is not new. No one's done it with black people. That's false. You guys, we're not some Neanderthals living under a rock. There are a lot of educated black people out here who crowdfund. This is his response. See, it's different when, and he knows, when you're talking to somebody who's not an idiot.
Experts in to advise us on how to do this new thing that none of us had done.
He said there were no experts who could advise us. Guys, that's false. Right? That's false. There were no experts to advise us. That's false. There are multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar financial institutions that do this for a living. Guess what? It costs money. But they're good on their return. It costs money. Jay Morrison took the money from this real estate fund and paid a bunch of Negroes who don't know what they're doing. Basically. Because when you're trying to pay people to really do the job, you got to pay them. You got to pay them properly.
Okay.
But none of them have done it in an environment where you're dealing with our people, which is very special.
Very true.
Right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. There was no wheel. How do you deal with 15,000 majority black people non-accredited in this environment?
Wow. If a white person say that, y'all would be up in arms. How are we supposed to do this with black folks? No one's ever done it. No one's collected money from black people from a crowdfunding standpoint. I like this. This is good. Why didn't I say that? For what? There was no point to argue with them. You guys, I wasn't going to argue. I'm going to tell you, I was a little disappointed because mind you, I was there for 3 hours. I was disappointed because nobody seemed to care in the room. So why even argue? What is there to argue about when I know he's lying? There just really wasn't a point. I don't see the point. I came and asked my questions. He said what he had to say. You can't argue with someone who believes they're not wrong. I don't waste energy. You guys, you see it all the time on my channel. I have people who get on me, on my homeboys, especially when I follow. He gets on me all the time about it. He's always telling me, man, dig into these people. I'm like, man, I tell him, for what? There's no point because you see the lie, you see the deception. You guys, I just don't do it. I don't. He's being disingenuous from the beginning. What am I going to argue with him about? All the qualified investors that he did not hire on purpose? All the qualified advisors, him not putting together a board of trustees, him not managing. Argue with him for what? You guys, he's already bankrupted the business. I just want to know what he's going to do about the reputation. Why won't he step down? And why are you reinventing the wheel? He gave me his answer. He believes that there are no black people qualified to do what he could not do. What am I going to do? Convince him? You guys, I don't argue with fools. I do not argue with fools. I don't. Because I'm wise. Wise men don't argue with fools. I had my little questions, said what I had to say, and I left. And here we are.
There was no wheel to follow. We created and set the wheel.
Okay.
That's why you heard what I said? Okay. Why? Because that's what he believes. His perception is his reality. He believes there's no wheel to this. That's what he believes in his heart of hearts. What am I going to do? How am I going to educate him? This man just blew $11 million. What am I going to tell him? I just listened to how he finessed the people out of land. What am I going to convince him? You don't think he knows that? And that's just what he told us. Who knows what, when you dig into the forensics of the accounting, what you will find. Why am I going to argue with him? Steven says I gave it a max 1 year before it's all done. I don't know, Steven. He said it's sub 500,000. You can't even buy a house in Atlanta for 500,000. The fund is done. The fund is done. Jay said it's sub 500,000 cash. What does Chef say? That's between $1 and 499,000. We don't know. You guys, the fund is done. There is no money. Think about it. He has people he has to pay. Salaries still have to get paid. And there's 500,000 cash. Sub 500,000. It's done. That's why he's not doing any of those monthly meetings and blah, blah. People are saying they're not getting any responses from him. He's not. You guys, it's done. It's over with. It's finished. Cuckoo cuckoo. The money is through. Money is through. Money is through. Shout out to you on Said Soltez says, good seeing you, bro. Thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. It is a pleasure to see you too. Been so busy, you guys, with work, these cases. I got to fly out next week. I got a manager this weekend I'll be speaking with. I got a speaking engagement tomorrow. I'll be speaking at a police department, talking to officers, reference to mental health, mental wellness, and suicide prevention. So I just been running around, and I love doing live streams. And this one right here I had to do after sitting in on this meeting. You know, I've been following this thing for years, you guys. I've been following this thing, so I know what's going on. I didn't know the lot. I learned a lot just from sitting there. I was like, damn, he was doing all of that. He was doing all of that. I didn't know he didn't buy any property, guys. I think he only owns like 3 assets. I think they said when they're explaining it. I'm gonna give you the final recap as far as what really is owned at this point. But man, it's nothing. It's nothing. You know. Chef came back with a. Brent said, "Damn, bro, you went to his crib and took a heavy piss on the carpet and the couch." Man, I had to show up and say, you know, listen, I don't mind pulling up. You know, we pulled up on Tariq Nasheed. He wasn't there. Bless his heart. You know, we pulled up the Hidden History Museum and found out that all the history was hidden in the museum that he turned into a nightclub. I show up at the Legacy Center, and it's actually a really nice center for what I saw. Very nice on the inside. You know, it's an event space, which is what he said, legit. This is supposed to be the flagship for the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. It's bad business, you guys. Horrible business plan. He'd have better off buying laundromats and car washes. He would have made back his money. Could have wrote off a lot too with those. But let me finish this, you know. So he's talking about the will. Black people don't have the skills to do any of this. So he's the first one. No one else has sat in his shoes. All right.
So now the rest of us can leverage that with more wheels so we all can move forward. And that was always my goal. Not one fund, but $20, $50 million funds, $1 billion in assets under management and funds with other partners.
Well, I'll say this. I respect the fact that as a man, you came up here to challenge the opposition. I think that's admirable. And, you know, unfortunately, I hate what happened to you after being smeared. and issues with your family, that's unacceptable. But I do respect you coming up here and addressing it head on. I think that's what men do, and I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. That's it. I appreciate the work you're doing. 11 million to 0. Good job. Good job. Appreciate what you're doing. What am I going to say? You guys, what am I going to do? Discipline him? Who am I? I don't have any skin in the game. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not going to argue. I'm mad of how this whole thing unfolded. I couldn't imagine how angry the people are who put over $1,000 plus into this thing. I just had questions for me to share with y'all because I wanted to know his thoughts. I wanted to feel out his personality. You guys, talking to a man who has an ego that's unregistered. An unregistered ego, it's off the charts. He's panicking. He's out of options. And he's working on an exit strategy. My next stop, I got to go see Dr. Umar's school. I'm about to holler at that brother. He's another one. He's another one. I did give him mercy. I think I was very fair. I was very fair. I was very fair, and I wasn't there to start a fight. I wasn't there to get in no debate. I asked him a question. He gave us an answer. He showed you everything that we needed to know. Nothing else to talk about. Why? Because it's already done. It's done. It's over with. It's dead. It's dead, you guys. The only option is for him to step down. Someone else be put in the rank. A board of trustees is created. Salvage what they can. Change the name. Get people to get behind it now that the name has been cleaned and they have a management team and secure. They go on an actual campaign, marketing campaign, letting people know, hey, the funds weren't managed properly. We're under new management, new name, new vision. Here's how your money's going to be secure. Here's what we are doing, what we will not do. I told him, I commend you. I think the idea is a great idea. I think it was an amazing idea. I love the idea. You are just not qualified to do it. That's it. It's a beautiful idea. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be in charge. I think you're a great hype man. I think you're good at selling it. I think you're a great salesman, Jay Morrison. You're a phenomenal salesperson. Give this man an award. Hell, have your wife up there. She's an amazing actress. She deserves an. But sir, you're not a financial expert and you don't have the credentials to support it. You just don't. And that's okay. You can still make a lot of money. You can still make a lot of money. But this right here, sir, you might go past go and don't collect $200. So you're on your way, bro. You're on your way. You're on your way, man. You know, everybody want to be fresh to death when the feds is watching.